Welcome, everyone, to Real Talk Fantasy Baseball. I am Will Power, your fantasy baseball analyst and host. With me, as always, is Javi the Commish. What's up, Javi? How you doing today?
Good. How are you, brother?
I'm chilling. Glad the baseball's back after the All-Star break. We have
Yeah.
a really good show lined up today. We have first coming up, are we seeing the return of the Big Red Machine? Followed by Christian Encarnacion Strand's long-awaited debut. Edward Julian or Trevor Story, are we adding either one of them? High value injury returns, 2-star pitchers, and maybe if we have time, we'll go over some weekend streamers, all coming up on Real Talk Fantasy Baseball. All right. I don't know where Javi went, but he should be returning in a second now. There he goes.
I'm here.
What's up? What's up?
Y'all miss me.
Yeah, I'm digging that background, dog. I wish my house looked like that.
Bro, my house looks like this all the time, dude.
All right, getting right into it. We actually have some comments already. Jose Velasquez, that's Javi's brother, says, "Where the hell's my RTB?" Sorry, guys. We were about a minute late getting onto the show today, but we are here. So drop your fantasy baseball questions or anything else you want to do in the comments, and we'll try to get back to you as soon as we see that. Before we get started today, we ask you to please like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. And big news, we are on Spotify now. So far, we have uploaded just one recording. You can actually watch the video on Spotify, or you can just listen to the audio. Please follow if you have not already. And let's go ahead and get in the show. Oh, we have another comment from It's Matt Dude. Yo, what's up, bro? Glad you could join in. Go ahead, drop some questions in the comments, and we will try to get to it as soon as we can. First, we are going over the news and notes. Yankees are in last place in the AL East and are the favorites in the AL to miss the playoffs. They are 14-21 since Aaron Judge's injury, 50-46 overall. 50-46 overall it's not the worst. You know, they're above 500, but in a crazy division like the AL East, it is actually a very bad record to have. You know, every single team in the AL East is doing better than the Yankees, but after the All-Star break, like that's almost unheard of. That hasn't happened in like decades.
Dude, that division it's pretty much you can't really see who's gonna take that division, to be honest with you. Every team is above 500. And I honestly didn't think Boston would be in the mix the way they are. Baltimore, I didn't, but man, it's fun, dude. Like it's not fun to see. I guess I can say it's fun to see the Yankees down there at the bottom of their division, but man, it's pretty cool like to have this kind of race this early in the season. That's gonna make it for an exciting final month of the season and stuff. Going into the playoffs. So the thing with the Yankees, it's crazy, man. How one player can be that significant for a whole squad. And if your name ain't Garrett Cole in that team, then man, like it just sucks, dude. It sucks. You expect big things from the Yankees, and I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on there. Their hitters, are not hitting the ball. Their pitchers, aside from Garrett Cole, aren't doing much. Dude, they got two guys that are hitting over 250, and one of them is Aaron Judge. Like, what does that tell you? That sucks. So
yeah, it really does. The AL East is definitely the toughest division in baseball right now. I mean, obviously with the Yankees record, and being last place in that division, usually last place in the division means that you're under 500, in the win-loss column. And that doesn't seem to be the case in the AL East. But, there's a lot of baseball left. We're only about halfway through the season. There's the trade deadline coming up in a few weeks, so they still have time. And
Yeah, they do.
there's been talks about really pushing hard for Shohei Ohtani. There's been talks about Dylan Cease and Lucas Giolito. So they're definitely
Mm,
out there looking for pitching. And we'll see what happens, man, because I
yeah,
really think that the Yankees need to see something from the team that they have already. Why waste trading prospects when you know you're not going to make it all the way anyway? Unless it's for someone that you have control of over a few years, but don't go after
right.
Otani. I really feel like the Yankees need a lot more than just Otani to
No,
to make it to the World Series,
yeah,
and that's just to make it to the World Series, not even just to win the World
yeah.
Series. So I think that they should actually be out on him, but I wouldn't mind seeing Lucas Giolito in pinstripes. That I feel like that he would actually excel.
That'd be yeah. Well, he's
Yeah, he's
already wearing some kind of pinstripe.
yeah. Sometimes
That's pretty cool. Yeah, yeah,
have you seen the White Sox um the City Connect jerseys, the South Side?
yeah.
Those are
South
fire.
side. Yeah,
I
those are
really
dope.
like.
Yeah, they
A couple
are.
more comments. Let's see. Jose Velasquez says these fools are late. Sorry, man. We are here. We are live. Sorry about that. That's what happens when you have a live show, dude.
Yeah.
Stuff. Tony's on. What's up, Tony? These fools all late had me rolling. Sorry, man. Um, you know, it
It's
happens.
life, homie.
That's life. All right. Next up, Astros are targeting Dylan Cease. If this happens, what do you think this means for Dylan Cease's fantasy value?
Dude, that'd be sick. Um, the Astros are pretty good at developing their pitching. Um, and he's he's having an off year, but he's got 129 strikeouts, man. Like the guy can pitch. If you put him on a contender, bro, like that'd be pretty cool, man. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, Dylan Cease has actually been in the trade talks for a while now. There's been talks about Dylan
Yeah.
Cease and Tim Anderson kind of being like a package deal, maybe possibly going over to the Dodgers. That was kind of like the big talk about a month ago, but that's kind of subsided
Mm.
since then. I don't know what the Dodgers stance is on, going after Dylan Cease and Tim Anderson. I feel like the White Sox are going to want a lot for Dylan Cease, even though he's kind of having a down season. And I
Yeah.
don't really understand the point of trading for a pitcher like that when you don't really know what type of pitcher he's going to be in the playoffs. You know, like we
That
already
is
know what type
true.
of pitcher Kershaw is in the playoffs, and he's not good. And we need
Right.
someone to kind of take the reins in the playoffs. We thought Bueller was going to be the guy, but he's been banged up and Tommy John surgery, so he's going to be out for a little while. Let's see, we got another comment. Dylan to the Astros would be tight. Yes, it would be great for the Astros, and 2017 kind of comes to mind, and I'm glad to say that there are only two players left from the 2017 cheating scandal Astros that are left, which is Jose Altuve and Alex Bregman. So I'm willing to kind of put the past behind me and move forward. And I'm going to say that I think that the Astros are the team to beat. And they're probably going to end up going to the World Series, and trading for an all-star pitcher like Dylan Cease would just kind of solidify that. It looks like it's going to be down to like the Astros and the Rays. Those are like the two
Right.
big powerhouses of the AL. But there's a lot of teams you can't count out. But those are the two that seem to be in like the top 10 in the power rankings every single week.
Yeah, you can kind of see what they do. Like I think about like Verlander. Now that he's with the Mets, he hasn't been pitching that great. The only pitcher that I could think of that actually left the Astros and has been pitching like consistent is Garrett Cole.
Yeah. I
Other
mean,
than
Charlie
that,
Morton also, but
yeah,
Charlie Morton is a little on the older side, and we've
Right.
seen like from Scherzer and from Verlander that Father Time has kind of caught up to them a little bit. Verlander
Mhm.
more than Scherzer, and it seems like to be the case with Charlie Morton as well. They're all in their late 30s. I think
Yeah.
Verlander just turned 40, maybe.
Dude,
So yeah.
I think about like Keuchel. Remember Keuchel? He was
Mhm.
the shit with the Astros, and then when he wasn't with the Astros, he was shit.
Yeah,
So I'm thinking
he was
like
a Cy Young with the Astros.
yeah, yeah. So now I'm thinking if the Astros can get to C's, I mean maybe they can open up his potential. You know what I mean? Like
It seems like they're
that'd
gonna
be
need to do
really cool to see.
something because,
Yeah,
Framber Valdez, who knows what happens with who's gonna happen what's gonna happen with Framber Valdez? Like, is he gonna come back healthy? When is he gonna come back? No one
yeah,
really knows. So, no timetable, I believe, for Framber Valdez. Hopefully he comes back soon, for the
yeah,
Astros and for fantasy managers alike.
yeah.
Um all right, moving on. We have Nick Pivetta. Nick Pivetta. What the hell is going on with Nick Pivetta? We saw Nick
Fucking
Pivetta with the
weird.
Phillies, and he was super inconsistent. Very,
Yeah,
very inconsistent. He would have like this amazing start. Points league, he would get you like 30 something points, and then the next week he would just be like a -5. It
yeah,
was so up and down. But
yeah.
lately, now that he's on the Red Sox, he is used as um like
Like a bulk.
a bulk reliever
Yeah.
following an opener. So, um, it- his fantasy value. I don't know. Have you checked on Nick Pivetta? What are you thinking about Nick Pivetta?
Um, the way I see it, I kind of like what they did with him because I think he started the season in the rotation, and he was very inconsistent, and they ended up putting him as a bulk relief pitcher, right? And he's excelled, and now they're thinking of bringing him back into the starting rotation. So you know we talk about all these struggling pitchers. You know, I think this is a good idea. Like if you're a back end pitcher and you're having an off year or an off season, more or less, if you want to use that pitcher as a bulk pitcher, because pitching is different nowadays. It's not the same, right? Where a guy's gonna go 7 innings, and then you got your setup and your closer. Now it's like 5 innings, and then you got maybe like 3 or 4 guys that come in between the fifth and the ninth inning, and they would close the game out. Um, dude, if you can get like a struggling pitcher, like a number 3 or number 4, that's having a hard time adjusting maybe to the pitch clock, work on mechanics. Maybe instead of sending them down to AAA or the minors, you can have them work as a bulk relief pitcher to kind of work things out, and maybe like in this case, it's actually worked. So you, like fantasy wise, it's kind of weird. In a I would say like in a categories league, you wouldn't really get somebody like Pavetta, but like in a points league, the way he's been pitching, you know, innings, strikeouts, stuff like that. It works.
The good thing about Pavetta, okay, so the one downside to Pavetta is you're not going to get a quality start because he doesn't start the
Right.
game. He comes in the
Yep.
second or the third inning. But you're right about the strikeouts. He usually goes 6 innings. Even
Hmm.
the bulk relief for him is about 6 innings, which has been
Yeah,
great,
which is
which
crazy.
gives
Yep.
him an opportunity, more of an opportunity to get the win as well.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have to pitch that first inning to go against like the 1, 2, and 3 guy, or possibly even the number 4 guy. So he
Right.
starts, with past kind of like the middle of the order. So that way you're getting kind of like the weaker batters. You don't have to face the best of the best, or the best of the lineup. Right when you first
Hmm.
get out there, he gets to kind of like get a little bit looser before he sees the top of the top of the batting lineup. So I actually do really like Pavetta, like
Right.
you said in points, because especially because he has the RP eligibility. Um, at least
Right.
in Yahoo, I'm not sure about other sites. I'm sure he does because he's had multiple opportunities in the relief pitcher
Relief.
position this
Yeah.
season. But
I
I
just like
actually
the
really
I like. Yeah, go ahead.
I actually really agree with you about other teams, trying to maybe make this work with other struggling pitchers that that have been kind of like shitty this season. Lance Lynn
Yeah.
or Sandy Alcantara, Alec
Mhm.
Manoa. There's so many different pitchers. Like maybe you need to try to like shake things up and take a page out of the
Yes.
Red Sox book, and
Yeah, man.
maybe it would help them out a little
It
bit.
looks like it's working, dude. I mean, I don't know why more teams aren't thinking about that, because I see it from the players' standpoint. If you get sent down to the minors because you're having an off season, that's kind of demoralizing because you're like, yo, I literally was in the majors and now I'm back down to like rookie ball, let's say, per Alec Manoa.
Yeah,
Um, it maybe it fucks with their psyche, and they won't be the same pitcher that they were.
yeah.
But if you keep them in the team and use them in a role where it's going to help the team out, let's say they're in a playoff race, this could actually work, man. I hope more teams kind of go in this direction.
Yeah, I feel like the whole like psyche part of everything. It's definitely more um, prevalent, like in rookies or guys that have only been in the league for a couple seasons. Um, with guys that have been around for a long time, like Lance Lynn, I don't really think, sending him down to AAA would do anything like mentally for him. He just knows that he has to get right, and that's the reason why they sent him down. But,
Yeah.
if you're still on that rookie contract, if you have less than, 5 years MLB experience and they're sending you down, that's kind of like, damn, what if I actually stay here for the rest of my career and I never get right, and there's a lot of things that could happen. But with the older guys that have already gotten that big contract, they're probably just like, I've already gotten paid, so
Yeah.
it sucks that I'm down in the minors, but I'm gonna right the ship, and then
Yeah.
I'm gonna prove that I'm still good enough.
Right. Right.
The experience factor definitely comes into play.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got
Definitely.
some more comments. Tony says, "What do we do with Alec Manoa? Do you want to take this since you actually had Alec Manoa? And what did you do with him?"
I traded him, and now Tony's stuck with him. I don't know. I know he had one good game as soon as he came back
Yeah, his
from rookie
first
ball.
start it was really good.
Yeah,
I
I think he
believe
had like.
he still had a lot of walks in that outing though.
Yeah.
I don't remember
Other
the
than
point.
that, I haven't really been keeping my eye on him, so I don't know. I don't know if you want to look up his stats.
So I remember the last outing he had. I think he had negative points in our league in his
Damn.
last start. So honestly, in my head, I think that Alec Manoa will eventually be just fine. But as for now, you can't start him.
No.
Whether it's a points league or a categories league, like you have the opportunity to possibly get some points from Alec Manoa, but we saw his first return, against the Royals, which is one of the weakest teams in baseball, weakest lineups in baseball. And that could have been a big factor about why Alec Manoa did so good. But his start after that was not against the Royals, and he ends up getting lit up. So
Yeah.
honestly, if I had Alec Manoa, I would have dropped him a couple months ago, and I didn't try to pick him up again. I have a really high waiver, and I could have used it on Alec Manoa when everyone dropped him, but I chose not to because I just don't believe that in 2023 he's going to be a high value fantasy option.
Yeah, I think it's a little late for the turnaround. I think
For,
now he just needs to focus on working on his mechanics and whatever it
Mhm.
is that's mentally maybe messing with him, get it right. You're gonna have your ups and downs. You already got sent down to rookie ball, dude. I mean, the only direction you can go now is up, you
Yeah,
know,
well, or get DFA'd.
or exactly. Let somebody
Yeah,
else take a chance on him.
it's really weird because Toronto in the past has been known for developing their pitchers pretty good,
Yeah,
and you just can't figure out how to help Alec Manoa, unfortunately. Um, but that's how it goes. He's one of these younger pitchers that Tony's in the comments right now. He said the yips, and that's possibly what it could be. Maybe he had like one bad start, and then it kind of just like brought all these emotions
Trickled.
inside of him, and
Yeah.
he gets the yips every time he's out there, and
Yeah.
against the weaker lineup, he was able to, keep his composure, and he pitched well. But then, when you face other teams that are not the Tigers or not the Royals, then life gets a little bit harder for you, and you have to work a little bit harder.
Right.
He says Alek Manoah needs to hit the gym. Jose Velasquez says
Mm,
Alek Manoah needs to hit the
that
gym. Maybe,
that
maybe that's true, man. He's a
dude,
big
maybe
dude.
remember when we talked about this? That was a big point of emphasis. This dude is big as fuck, and dude, honestly, I think if you can drop, I don't know, 20, 25 pounds, I think he's gonna make a big difference.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
I mean,
We have Eliazar Rodriguez. So hopefully I'm saying that right. Saying where's Carlos Adame? So Carlos is actually not on Friday's show anymore. Sometimes he'll come on as a guest, but his show is on Mondays. So we cover the fantasy baseball on Fridays, and he covers MLB news and other MLB topics that's going on with his co-host Ernie Orange. So hopefully you can join in on both shows, and please, for everyone that is listening right now, if you could just like this video and subscribe if you haven't already, we would appreciate that. All right, so that was Alek Manoah, and we are going to move on. Aaron Boone said that Aaron Judge could be back for the Subway Series starting July 25th, as he was seen running the bases on Wednesday at Yankee Stadium. So July 25th is next week. So
damn.
a lot of people didn't even think that he was going to come back this season. Now they're already talking about him coming back next week. So good sign for Aaron Judge, but
I think they're getting
I'll believe it
desperate.
when I see it.
I think they're getting desperate. Like
Yeah.
I think they're telling themselves we need our big guy back in order to right the ship, and I just don't think that's the way to go. If the guy's hurt, let him heal,
Let him
because
heal.
he's your cornerstone, dude. That's your guy. Why do you want to rush it?
They might be just listening to their fans so much, because the fans are
Yeah,
just they're known for heckling their own players, and
yeah,
their own players and their own coaches and the manager and all that. So it's don't. Hopefully the Yankees don't let it get to their head, and they don't rush
no,
Aaron Judge back. Hopefully he comes back and he's actually healthy. But turf toe is
yes,
no joke, man. Turf toe is basically a torn ligament in your big toe,
yeah,
and that's not something easy to come back from. Jazz Chisholm was out for about 3 months with the same thing. We've
hmm
seen multiple injuries of the same kind where they come back and they're a little slow to get started. Aaron Judge playing the outfield, I feel like there's a logjam at DH. So
yeah,
I don't know if I would trust him running around out there.
dude. I would definitely slot him into DH, man. Like, don't have him out there every day. He's a
Yeah,
big guy, man. You hurt your toe and you're that big. It's not, if even if he does get healthy, it's still there, you
yeah.
know. So
Yeah, he's
I
not
don't
going
know,
to be
man.
able to run as well as he was before this injury.
Yeah,
But hopefully he does come back healthy. All right. So that we have the first trade that might actually have some merit. We were talking about the AL East earlier, and the Oakland A's trade Shintaro Fujinami to the O's, who has been a pretty decent reliever since he was called up this year. ERA under 3, decent strikeouts. So that's a mid relief option for the O's. I don't think that he really has too much fantasy value unless your league counts holds as a category, or you get some points. But the O's
yeah,
definitely need some bullpen help, because they have a decent closer. They have some good,
yeah,
like, back end help, but the middle relievers are definitely not too great for the Orioles.
yeah.
All right, Mariners outfielder Jared Kelenic is an idiot, and he lands on the IL after he kicked a water cooler in the dugout after striking out. I don't know if you heard
Oh
about
my
this, dude,
God, these
but
guys, bro.
bro, he
I
struck
did.
out, which batters do. A lot of batters strike out more than 100 times
Yep.
per season, and then he gets mad and he kicks a cooler and breaks his toe. Like, what the hell are you doing, man? It's not just about you.
Fucking
It's about your
go
team.
ahead.
You know,
Yeah,
baseball
man.
is the one
I
sport where
seen I
you
seen
need your team to be healthy. It's
yeah, I
one guy
seen
is not going to.
who was the dude that beat the shit out of the one of a fan? Not a fan, but a fan. Did you hear
Oh,
about
I
that?
did see that. I did see that. No, I
Was it
don't
a
remember.
Yankee?
I
I'm
think it
thinking
was
it
a
was a
Yankee.
Yankee.
I think it was a Yankee,
Yeah,
and it was like a
dude,
really hot day too, and they
bro,
needed
he
that
went
fan
to
in that dugout, man.
he went to town on that thing. He
Yeah,
even
he
when
did.
they hit the floor, he started stomping on it. I'm like, dude, I think it's dead.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me
It's
of
crazy, man.
the Yankees player a few seasons ago, maybe even last season. I think he got DFA'd. I don't remember his name, but he was often referred to as Caillou. Do you know Caillou from like the little
Yeah,
kids TV show?
that
Um,
annoying ass little kid.
yeah, what's his what's the player's name?
uh, damn, I don't know.
Damn it. All right. Hopefully there's someone in the comments that can
Oh,
answer this for us.
it was Tommy Canley. He's the one that
No,
beat
no, no.
the
Oh,
no,
that's
no,
who.
he's the
Oh,
one that
that's right. Because
yeah,
he messed up his relief appearance. He allowed a run, I think.
that is insane, man.
Yeah, that's
Who
funny.
did this other guy play for?
The Yankees. Oh, Brett Gardner. That's who it was. Brett Gardner. Yeah,
Oh,
he was
I
notorious for going out into the dugout and just kind of like grabbing his
that's so
bat and
cool.
banging it on the ceiling or throwing his helmet, and then it would ricochet and hit another
Yeah,
player. Yeah,
dude.
that dude, he needed some
He
anger
does look
management for sure.
he does look like Caillou now that I put two and two.
Big ass head when he takes off that
Yeah,
helmet.
that's funny as shit.
All right, so that's
Oh
basically
man,
all
that's
I have
cool.
for the news and notes. The next thing that I want to talk about is what the hell is going on in Cincinnati, man. The Cincinnati Reds, we didn't witness because we weren't born yet, but in the
Yeah.
1970s, the Reds had a stretch of like 8 or 9 years where they were just the powerhouse of Major League Baseball. They had guys like Johnny Bench, um,
Pete
I don't
Rose,
know, Pete Rose, Joe Morgan, like so many
Morgan.
different Hall of Famers and former MVPs, and I'm looking at this Reds lineup and they look so incredible. They're filled with young talent, so it looks like they're going to be good for a really long time. Elliot de la Cruz is
Dude,
is
I
in the leadoff position now. That's a guy that's going to
mhm,
score a lot of runs because he likes to steal second, third, and home in the same play, and he hits the
yep.
ball freaking hard, man. So he's going to get doubles, he's going to get triples, he's going to get home runs. This is a great leadoff hitter. I love what the
Yeah,
Reds are doing.
yeah, definitely. Dude, I was looking at, when you told me that we're gonna talk about this, and I did like a position by position, and I was comparing, like the position of the players from the Big Red Machines time to today, right? And I'm like, dude, these guys stack up so good with that team of the 70s. Maybe the only position that is kind of is like Joey Votto because he's up there in age. But even then, having him as a veteran presence is pretty cool. Having all these young guys, nobody's nobody's over 30 here. Everybody's under 30 except Joey Votto. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like if they can keep these core guys together, oh my god, like who knows, bro? They could probably
Yeah.
be maybe better.
Including Joey Votto in this lineup, there's 10 guys that pretty much play consistently on a daily basis, 10 batters, and
Yep,
7 of those guys have a batting average of 270 or higher.
that's
That's
insane.
incredible, dude. That's
Yeah,
that's that's freaking awesome. So I
yeah,
actually do have some stats here. So batting average is 13th overall. That's kind of like middle of the Major League Baseball right now, but that's fine because that's not including a lot of these rookies that got the late call up.
yeah,
So by
yeah,
the end of the season, I feel like that those numbers are going to go up.
yep,
On base percentage, they're 5th overall. OPS, they're 11th overall, which is probably going to go up also. Stolen bases. They actually have the most stolen bases out of all Major League Baseball teams this season with 114. And that's not including yesterday's games because I did all this researching on Wednesday. Walks, they are third overall, only behind the Dodgers and the Padres. Triples,
That'll
they're
climb by the end of the season, definitely.
yeah, for sure. Triples, they're second overall. Runs scored, they're ninth overall. And on the defensive side, errors, they are seventh overall. Fielding percentage, seventh overall. Now, this is where it gets kind of dicey. In ERA, they are 26th overall. So the problem that I see with the Reds
But
is
we
that
all know
Hunter
that
Green,
that's where they have their issues.
exactly. Hunter Green got hurt and Nick Lodolo got hurt. And those two guys, when they come back, they are going to be contenders. You know, that they have a pretty solid, 2-3 punch. I don't really feel like they have an ace yet. Potentially it could be Hunter Green. Maybe he has some ace potential, but we haven't seen that yet because he's so young. But just looking at the starting rotation now, Graham Ashcraft, Andrew Abbott, Luke Weaver, Ben Lively, Brandon Williamson, and Levi Stout, with Hunter Green and Nick Lodolo on the IL. Andrew Abbott has been freaking amazing this season. Ben Lively has the second lowest ERA with the 3.72. So that's the problem. Everyone else has a higher ERA than 3.72. I believe you just picked up Ben Lively, right?
I did. He's actually pitching right
now.
Little
desperation move on Javi's part for this week.
I mean, I gotta try it, man.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Sometimes you got to do what you got to do, and sometimes it works out for you, and sometimes it doesn't. For anyone out there that picked up Domingo Germán when everyone was talking about don't pick this guy up, leave him out on free agency because no one wants him, and then he goes out there and throws a perfect game.
Yeah,
I think in our league he got like 60 something points in that start.
Yeah, 63, I think. Holy shit.
Freaking insane, dude. Freaking insane.
Yeah.
All right. Man. Well, yeah, that's so that is the current Cincinnati Reds. The Reds of the 70s, it was Johnny Bench, Tony Perez, Joe Morgan, Pete Rose, Dave Concepcion, George Foster, Cesar Geronimo, and Ken Griffey Sr. Now, out of that whole lineup that I just mentioned, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Hall of Famers. Ken Griffey Sr. is in the Reds Hall of Fame, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4 former MVPs. Johnny Bench was a 2-time MVP. Joe Morgan was a 2-time MVP. Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame, but he was an MVP. Unfortunately, we're not going to see Pete Rose in the Hall of Fame. Maybe after he passes away, after Rob Manfred, his vagina stops hurting. And George Foster was an MVP. So I think that potentially the Reds lineup, it could be, just as good as the 70s Big Red Machine that we saw.
Bro, look, I was looking at this shit, right? And okay, I'm looking at third base. You got Spencer Steer with Encarnacion Strand, who plays third and he DHs. Tyler Stevenson, catcher, right? Which he's been all right, but they're really high on this guy. Jonathan India and Matt McClain, second base. Jake Fraley, right field. De La Cruz at short. Friedel at center, and then I don't really know much about Benson in left field, but bro, what the hell? You can literally interchange it.
Will Benson's batting 289. He's one of those 7 that has a decent batting average. So he's definitely helping the team win.
Dude, I just think like if you match guys position by position, it's identical as to how good both lineups are and the potential that this new lineup from the Reds can be. They just need pitching, bro. They just need pitching. I think that's their Achilles right there.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of the Reds, we had a major league debut this past week. Christian Encarnacion Strand. And I got this graphic right here for those listening on Spotify. Sorry if you cannot see this, but you know, you can always look on YouTube and see the graphic that I made. In his major league debut, he actually went 0 for 3, but then the next day he had his first major league hit, which was a 420 something foot home run, I believe. So far in 2023, he's batting 331 with a
Yeah.
1032
Oh man,
OPS
dude,
and 20 home runs. Now that was in AAA before he
did you
got
see
called
the?
up.
Did, did you see that home run?
No, I didn't get a chance to watch it.
Bro, look at the highlight. He cracked the shit out of that ball, bro. It just sounded so nice coming off the bat. Oh my, I was like, damn, I can't believe it wasn't farther than that, you know?
And you know, I'm actually really upset with myself not talking about this guy more often. You know, earlier in the season because I have him in my keeper league in one of my keeper leagues, and I should have been
Mhm.
hyping him up the same way that I was hyping up Edward Julian and Taj Bradley. So sorry about that, guys. I will try to do a better job about that. So I gave you the 2023 numbers already for AAA. Last season in
Right.
2022, he ended the season with a 304 batting average, a 955 OPS with 32 home runs. So this guy has some big pop playing in Great American Ballpark. I feel like, you know, the sky's the limit for this guy. We could potentially see 40 homer seasons from Christian Encarnacion Strand. And I believe on the back of his jersey, it just says Encarnacion. It doesn't say Strand. But if you're looking for him on you know, any of the fantasy baseball websites, you're definitely going to have to put in Strand. I don't even think you have to write Encarnacion. You can just type in Strand. A couple comments. Let's
Yeah.
see. Bro, Benson's OBP as good as Otani's. Yeah, but Benson, and it's weird because he's batting so low on the order. He's batting like number 7 when you got Jonathan India that's batting
Yeah.
like 250, that's batting 5th. You know, I think those
Yeah.
two should be flipped, and then maybe they'll even score a few more runs. Tony
Yeah.
says CES. Yeah, you beat me to it, dude. In our league, I was holding on to um Ellie De La Cruz and a couple other prospects, and unfortunately, you know, Tony beat me to it to getting Christian Encarnacion Strand. So, good job for Tony. Um, let's see. Jose Velasquez says
Tony
ran out of
sucks.
space. Yeah, Tony sucks. Fuck Tony.
Damn right.
All right, so that is Christian Encarnacion Strand. If he is available in your league, which most likely he is not, please add him
Pick him
now.
up.
Um, You know, I would definitely put him pretty high in the rankings. He's definitely like a top 12 first baseman. He's eligible at first base in Yahoo. I believe in other sites he is eligible at third base as well.
Hmm.
He should be able to pick up eligibility in both spots relatively soon. I think he made a start at third base just a couple days ago, and he hasn't played any first base soon yet. But you know, in Yahoo, you don't have to worry about that because he already has it. All right, that was Christian Encarnacion Strand. And next, I want to talk about the guy that I was hyping up big time about 3 months ago, beginning of the season. And that is, hold on, let me get rid of this real quick. And Edward Julian. Are we adding Edward Julian? Let's see. So far in 49 games in 2023, he's batting 316 with a 391 on base percentage, a 957 OPS, 9 home runs, 25 runs, 2 stolen bases, 55 strikeouts, and 19 walks. And that's a lot of strikeouts in 49
Yeah.
games. That's more than
Yeah.
one strikeout per game. So you would assume with all those strikeouts that his value in points leagues would go down a little bit because, you know, a strikeout is a -1, but with his on base percentage at a 391, yeah, this guy has the track
Hmm.
record in AAA and lower divisions where, you know, he's been known to have very good plate discipline. He
Yeah.
is a righty masher. He doesn't do very well against lefties, so he sits very often against lefties. But when he's in the lineup, this dude has just been crushing the ball. He hits the ball decently hard for a second baseman. Average exit velocity is at 88.8 miles per hour, but the max exit velocity, which I'm really surprised to see, is at a 108.9 miles an hour. Dude's hitting the ball at 109 miles an hour, and if you can do
Damn.
that, you're definitely going to be hitting some home runs, which is why we
Oh
see 9
yeah.
home runs already in 49 games. You know,
Mm-hmm.
49 games. So that's about like a little less than a third of the season. So
Right.
he has 30 home run potential, basically, and once he gets called up and like once he stays in the lineup every day, doesn't sit against lefties, I feel like we're really going to see the counting stats climb a lot,
Right.
in a
Yeah.
Twins lineup where they actually have a pretty decent lineup. So he's going to have a lot of chances for runs and RBI.
They're saying he's like the second coming of Arias, bro. Minus the strikeouts, because Arias doesn't strike out.
Yeah, Rise
But
doesn't strike out.
yeah, Arias, dude, that's a totally different animal right there. I was reading something about him that he's basically the batting average of the whole team or something like that. Fucking, that's crazy, man. But yeah, man. This dude looks like he could potentially replace Arias as the guy, the batting average guy. The strikeouts are high, but I think that'll adjust as he keeps getting more playing time in. But yeah, man, if he's out there, dude, like I think somebody scooped him up today, as a matter of fact, in
Yeah,
in your league.
Carlos did.
Yeah, so if he's out there, man, I'd totally take a chance on this dude.
So in 113 games in 2022, he struck out 125 times. But
Mm,
this dude is only 24 years old. So he has a lot of room to grow. He got called up a little bit late. I feel like there was a little bit of hype about him, but
yeah,
he wasn't like that top prospect that everyone kind of had their eyes on, like an Ellie De La Cruz or an O'Neal Cruz, like that type of player. But just
right.
looking at his track record, dude, in 2022 he batted 300 with a 441 on base percentage.
That's crazy.
141 points higher than his batting average. This dude walks a lot. He had 98 walks in 2022. It hasn't
Holy
shown
shit.
so far in the majors, but that's going to change. I really feel like that's going to change because if you can do that in AAA, then you should be able to do that in the major leagues as
Yeah,
well.
he's probably trying to force it, trying to show out, but in time, young guys like this, some you know have greater plate discipline when they're brought up, and some just kind of want to hit the ball. And with that track record that you just said right now, I mean, I'm sure he'll right the ship.
Yeah, I agree. So are we adding Edward Julian? I say definitely. Hell
Ding,
yes.
ding, 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 ding.
Points leagues, categories leagues, go out and get Edouard Julian. First name is spelled Edouard. Spells it a little bit differently, just in case you're looking for him. Last name is Julien. I made the mistake of looking for AN, so I just wanted to, clarify there. All right, so next I want to talk about Trevor Story making his first rehab start today. So in 2022, Trevor Story only played 94 games. He had a 238 batting average, a 303 on base percentage, 737 OPS with 16 home runs. 16 home runs in 94 games is great.
Yeah.
That's basically like almost a 30 home run pace. 53 runs scored with 13 stolen bases, 122 strikeouts, and 32 walks. So I talked a lot about Edouard Julian. How about you take Trevor Story?
Um, um, what can I say about Story, man? I liked him better when he was with the Rockies, I guess.
As
He's
we all
been
do.
injured. Yeah, he's been injured quite often. I mean, he's only 30, so I mean, the way the Red Sox are playing, you just add him to the mix, and it just makes the team that much better if he comes back to form. Um, but you know what you're getting with Story. If you've been watching baseball, for the past 5 6 years, whatever. Um, the guy's good, man. The guy's good, and the Boston can definitely use him. Because their shortstop position has been kind of iffy this season.
Yeah, ever since
So,
Bogart left and
mhm,
signed with the Padres, they've kind of had a little hole at shortstop. And It's weird because on Yahoo, well, not really weird because we already knew this kind of going into it, but on Yahoo, he's only second base eligible. And that's because Xander Bogaerts had the shortstop position locked down last year. Last year was Trevor Story's first year with Boston,
Right.
after he became a free agent from Colorado. So seeing him only at second base last season is the reason why he doesn't have shortstop eligibility yet,
Hmm.
but
Yeah.
he's definitely going to have shortstop eligibility very soon after he
Yeah.
gets back in the major leagues. If you need home runs, if you need stolen bases, Trevor Story is definitely a great option to go.
Dude,
You know,
this fool can hit bombs. Oh my
yeah,
God. What was it?
and
A couple years ago where he had like 3 home runs in a game or something?
yeah, I don't remember that one, but I don't deny, I don't doubt it at all.
Yeah.
Dude's a really strong guy, especially for shortstop. Shortstops don't typically hit 30 home runs, and shortstops also don't have a lot of speed. So, at 29 years old last season, the 16 home runs and the 13 stolen bases, that is an amazing value that you can get for basically free. No one had to draft him, and he
Yeah.
is definitely going to help you in your fantasy lineups towards the end of the season when you're trying to make that playoff push and in the playoffs as well. He's probably not going to play every day, at first because he's coming back from a version of Tommy John surgery, which I actually wanted to talk about in just a moment. So Trevor Story, he's probably going to have like somewhat similar to like Bryce Harper's type of schedule in the beginning, where
Right.
he's going to be playing a lot of DH, and he's probably not going to play every day at first. He's probably going to be one
Yeah,
day and then a
I mean,
break, and then two
you
days
don't
and then
want
a
to,
break.
you don't want to rush it. I mean, he can be a big part of what you're trying to do as far as going into the playoffs and stuff like that. So, I mean, you just ease him back into, the lineup. Don't have to play him every single game, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, and when it comes to categories or points leagues, I definitely like him better in categories leagues because of those home runs and stolen base numbers. I don't really
Hmm.
like him in a points league, but if you're in a deeper league that has a middle infield spot, I would definitely look to add Trevor Story depending on who you have in that position as it is right now.
Yeah, I agree.
So moving on to I said I kind of wanted to talk about Tommy John a little bit, so I actually came up with this right here. So there is a new method of Tommy John surgery, so Tommy John surgery is when they completely replace the ligament in your elbow, in the pitching elbow or throwing elbow, whichever batter or pitcher. Um, so they completely take out the ligament and they replace it with a ligament that they can either get from the player's wrist or the hamstring. And that's the repair that they do. They put a brand new ligament in there, and over time, your body will just kind of accept it as that
Hmm.
is the ligament that is there now. There's a new type of surgery, the UCL repair, which doctors go in there and they reattach or they repair the ligament that is currently inside the elbow, and they add like a little uh like mesh. Sorry, thought I had put it on here. It's like a little piece that they just kind of add to the ligament to make it a lot stronger. So that way
Mm,
there's less recovery time. The recovery time for Tommy John surgery is close to about a year, whereas the
yeah.
UCL repair with the mesh getting added is closer to about 8 to 9 months. So
Huh.
it is relatively new. The surgery was actually first performed in 2017, and there's been 111 athletes that have gotten this surgery, and 91% of these patients have had a successful surgery. So a
Oh
very
wow.
small percentage has not gone too well. But the advances that they've been coming up with lately, it seems like this might be the way to go. So they're still kind of trying to like work out the kinks and everything. And sorry, I still have the add Trevor Story thing on there. So they're still trying to work out the kinks, and they're trying to figure out if every player would actually be would benefit from this repair versus the typical Tommy John surgery, or if it's
Mhm.
better for batters, or if it's better for pitchers. There's a lot more research that has to be done because Tommy John surgery has been around for decades, whereas this
Mhm.
UCL repair surgery it's a little more new. It's only about 6 years old. So there have been a little more than 1,000 surgeries so far, and only 111 on professional athletes. And with that turnaround, that 91% turnaround, that seems like it's heading in the right direction. So
They've done it to anybody recently? Oh, well, in 2017, who got it done? Do you know?
so as of now, the only player that I know of that has gotten this type of repair is Trevor Story.
Oh, okay, okay.
So
Oh,
every
I
other
guess we'll see now, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Every other player that we've seen, Bryce Harper, Shohei Ohtani, and most recently, Jacob DeGrom, have all had Tommy John surgery. The typical where they just replace the whole ligament. And Bryce Harper and Ohtani look amazing. Bryce Harper came back
Yeah.
3 months ahead of schedule.
It,
Maybe he
you
just
know,
had like a miracle doctor. I don't know, but
it's crazy. Every time that I've seen that a player gets Tommy John, they come back better. I don't know if that makes sense.
I think it depends on the doctor because you look at
Yeah.
Tim Lincecum that had Tommy John surgery about
Mm-hmm.
a decade ago, and he came back and he was shitty.
Yeah.
His
Yeah.
fastball dropped like 8 miles an hour. It's different for everyone. Just looking at the graphic that I have here, the live batting practice to gain possession is 12 to 13 months. The success rate for Tommy John surgery is 80 to 90%, depending on what study you're looking at. Average return time to pitching is 11 to 14 months, but the UCL has a 92% success rate. The Tommy John says 80 to 90, and the UCL is 92. So,
Dude, I think if they look at what Story does for the remainder of the season, players are gonna look at it like, okay, I want to do that instead.
yeah,
Shorter
and
recovery time.
it says right here at the bottom, average return to pitching is 6 to 7 months.
Wow,
That less than a year? That's
that's
incredible.
crazy. Yeah.
It's because they're not replacing,
Hmm.
they're repairing, so
Repairing it.
less downtime. So
That's cool, man. Shit.
yeah, hopefully this is gonna be the new normal,
Yeah.
and, we
Yeah.
won't see any more Tommy John surgeries. We're just gonna see the UCL repairs.
Yeah.
Tommy John surgery is kinda like, an older way of doing it anyway. It's been around since, Tommy John, you
Yeah.
know?
I tripped out when I found out there was actually somebody named Tommy John.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Not the surgeon. It was actually
No.
all right, injury returns. Now, these are the big, injury returns that we have. Brandon Woodruff, Aaron Judge, Max Fried, and Merrill Kelly. 3 huge all-star caliber pitchers, and, of course, one of the best hitters in baseball, Aaron Judge, if not the best, Aaron Judge. So, be on the lookout for these guys. Once they return, um, I believe all of these guys have either started their rehab assignments or are going to start their rehab assignments either this weekend or sometime next week. So within the next 2 weeks, all these guys should be back. It's so crazy that all these guys were injured all at the same time and they're all about to return about
Yeah.
the same time. So
No.
I'm loving it, dude, because I have Brandon Woodruff, I have Max Fried, and I have Merrill Kelly.
Oh, wow.
At least in one of the leagues that I have each of these players in at least one of the leagues that I currently have. So
Yeah.
I'm very excited to get Max Fried back. I
Yeah.
just got Julio Urias back, and he kind of shit the bed this week. He didn't do very good for me. I believe I got -2 points,
Mm.
unfortunately. But Brandon Woodruff, he looked solid before he got hurt. Max Fried looked solid before he got hurt. Merrill Kelly looked solid before he got hurt, and of course Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
He's just a freak of nature, and
Yeah.
hopefully he comes back healthy, and sooner than recently expected. All right, going over. Oh, I thought I made a graphic for the 2-star pitchers, but I must not have sent it over. My bad. Um, So, I actually, before we talk about the two-star pitchers, I just want to ask you real quick. If it came down to Trevor Story or Edouard Julien, who are you adding right now?
I'd probably go with Julian just because he's already got his feet wet. He's been playing. Story, you know, it's kind of wait and see for me with Trevor Story. Depending on how he does in his rehab games, and how they want to utilize him, I take my chances with Julian because he's young. You can actually, if you play in a keepers league, you can actually take a chance on this guy. Whereas Story, he's a little bit older. And well, for me, it's like more a wait and see with Story because
Right.
you don't know if he's going to be the same baseball player that he was,
Yeah,
last
and
couple
also
seasons.
with Trevor Story, like, you don't wanna be the guinea pig, right? So,
Yeah,
someone
yeah,
out there is gonna add Trevor Story, and then he's gonna suck, like, the first, like, 3 weeks, and then he's gonna get
hmm
dropped, and then you gotta be the one to swoop in on him right before he gets hot. That's the
yeah,
secret to
yep,
fantasy baseball.
yep,
Alright,
yep.
so anyway, I got 2, two-star pitchers in my mind that I would like to mention. Do you have your two-star pitchers that you wanted to give to the audience?
I do. This was a little hard. Um, so this is more, I guess, matchup based. Um, not because of consistency, I guess. The first guy I was looking at was Logan Allen from the Guardians. He's got KC at home, and then he's at the White Sox. Um, basically two of the more shittier teams as far as offense goes, and he's been pretty decent. Um, the past couple of games he hasn't gone past 5 innings at all, so that's kind of worrisome. But because he's pitching against these two teams, I wouldn't mind taking a chance on Logan Allen. And then the second guy I got is Kenta Maeda. He's got Seattle at home, and then he's at Kansas City. Um, Seattle also one of those teams that they're at the bottom of the barrel right now. And then we talk a lot about the Royals and how their offense isn't that great. Um, he has had three outstanding outings against. Recently he pitched against Detroit. He had 8 strikeouts. Kansas City, 9 strikeouts, and Seattle, 9 strikeouts. And he's facing Kansas City and Seattle. So I say ride the shit with Maeda because he's playing these two teams next week. So I think that's a great two-start matchup.
So you actually took my first two-star pitcher that I was going to recommend. It was Kenta Maeda. Kenta
Mm,
Maeda, he has more than a strikeout per inning, which is a little bit different from his normal way that he pitches. He's never kind of been known as a strikeout pitcher, but I do like what I'm seeing. I do like the
mhm.
matchup, so I completely agree with you. And what was the other two-star pitcher that you said?
Logan Allen
Logan Allen.
from
That's
the
right.
Guardians. Yeah.
Yeah, Logan Allen has kind of like had his ups and downs. He got sent back down to AAA, and they're giving him another shot. And
Yeah.
hopefully he takes this shot and rights the ship, and he'll go out there and throw a no hitter or something like that.
Who knows?
Who knows? My second two-star pitcher, who I was actually targeting, and I believe it was the Dark Knight in our league that actually just added him a couple days ago. Looking for, I believe he started yesterday. Is Michael Lorenzen. So Michael
Mm,
Lorenzen has not allowed an earned run in his last 3 starts, including yesterday's start. Um, he's faced weaker lineups in the A's, the Mariners, and the Tigers. Against the A's, he allowed 3 hits. Against the Mariners, 2 hits, and against the Tigers, only 3 hits. So I like the last 3 outings that he's had. He
yeah.
does get somewhat of a tougher matchup with the Angels, with Shohei Ohtani being in that lineup versus the Angels and at Miami. So at Miami is not too bad, except for Luis Arias and possibly
Hmm.
Jorge Soler if the long ball kind of like gives him some trouble. But I think because he has that momentum going into next week, I think that Lorenzen actually might be somewhat of a decent fantasy option for the two starts. So yeah, we
He
both
was
agree on Kenta
he
Maeda.
was an all-star pitcher.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I like that pick. I actually had Lorenzen about a month ago, and then I dropped him for some reason, and somebody scooped him up. Damn it.
Yeah, I feel like Michael Lorenzen is better as a streamer anyway, going against like
Mhm.
weaker lineups. And Mike Trout's not in the Angels lineup right now because he's banged up. And I believe that the Angels, like, all they really have is Shohei Ohtani. They don't really have anyone else on the team that kind of just like stands out.
Yeah,
And then
I
in
agree.
Miami, they don't have did Jazz Chisholm get hurt again? I believe Jazz Chisholm got hurt
Yeah,
again,
he
right?
did. I
And
would know because I have him.
there you go. And then they also they have Luis Arias and Jorge Soler. So
Yeah.
other than that, they don't really have the best lineup in the world either. So there you have it. Those are our 4 two-star pitcher, actually 3 because we agreed on one. 3 two-star pitcher
Yeah.
options for next week. I wanted to go over some weekend streamers, but unfortunately we are at that 1 hour mark, so we don't really have a lot of time. But if you would like to ask us any questions about weekend streamers, you can reach us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. You can throw it in the comments here on YouTube, Spotify. It's new to us, so I don't know if they actually have a comment section or not, but I do check those pretty often and I get my notifications. So if you do have any questions, just go ahead and find us on there. You can search Real Talk Baseball. If you
Hit
go,
that hit that little notification bell. That way you
yeah,
guys can, get like notified when Carlos gets on and Ernie Orange on Mondays, and then when we do our show on Fridays. And Carlos is always putting up like little clips and stuff, highlights. So that's always pretty cool. So,
yeah, it's always
if
a
you
fun
guys,
show to watch, and
yeah,
he does a lot of like old school baseball stuff too, where he'll like
yeah,
ask the audience a question, or he'll ask Ernie Orange a question, kind of like a trivia type of thing.
yeah, it's
And
cool.
in the future, I brought it up to Javi that I was thinking about possibly having like a fantasy baseball Jeopardy kind of
That'd be
addition to
dope.
the show.
That'd be
So
pretty cool.
we'll do a little game show of our own once in a while.
Dude,
So real quick, I'm going to put this back up. It is the graphic of the thumbnail for the episode today. If you are watching on YouTube or Spotify or Facebook, you can use your camera to hover over that QR code, and it'll take you to our link tree, which you can find all of our social media sites on there: TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, all that. We are actually on Threads as well now, also Twitter and Threads. So
there you
yes,
go.
please check us out. And if you haven't already, please like this video and hit that subscribe button. We appreciate you guys. We're trying to get to 500 by the end of this season.
Let's
Um,
do it.
and
Come
we'll
on.
come back strong next year. And I believe that's a wrap for this episode, unless you have anything else you want to add, Javi.
No, man. Just like Will said, subscribe, help us out here. Hit that notification bell. It helps us out a lot. And it was good show, man.
Yep, very good show. I'm happy with how today went, and thank you everyone that was in the comments, and we appreciate your questions and your viewership and your listening and all that jazz. So for Real Talk Fantasy Baseball, I am Will Power, and this was Javi the Commish. We appreciate you guys, and we are signing out. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you guys.